Right. Okay. So this is the third week of my draft league matches as part of the Littleroot Lessons podcast. Last 2 weeks, my matches were recorded, published. They're on my YouTube channel in a playlist. The results are not fantastic. I lost both of them, so I'm currently 0 for 2 win-loss ratio. But last week I didn't just get stomped. Maybe you've seen the video, maybe you haven't. But I did win one, lost one, then lost the other one, so it was 1-2 there. Anyway, the point is, I lost 2 matches in a row. Third week, maybe it'll go differently, maybe it won't. We'll see. My opponent this week is JinjaGreninja and the Darlington Earthquakers. It's a pretty cool team, pretty interesting. I really like some of their picks. They got some good stuff. They've got Dialga for their restricted tier, Gigantamax Gengar, Dusclops, which is a very frightening Pokemon, Mudsdale in the A tier, Araquanid is the other A tier, Tapu Bulu and B tier, Hawlucha B tier, Boltund B tier, and then Turtonator and Shelder in the C tier. Some very interesting stuff there. Right away, there's some really strong combos that spring to mind. Things like Trick Room, Dusclops plus something really slow like Mudsdale and Araquanid. They're both really good Trick Room sweepers. Combos like Shelder into the Mudsdale with the skill link. I'll talk about that a bit more later, but that's something that I need to do a lot of consideration around. Other combos, Unburdened Hawlucha with Tapu Bulu. Grassy Seed will make that thing pretty frightening. Boltund with Electrify against the Mudsdale could really be hard to counter. Turtonator, Shell Smash, I assume that's why that's there. To be honest, everything on this team can do something cool. So who knows what's going to happen. I have to win this week because of my ratio so far. If I lose this week too, then that'll be 3 losses, and I'm pretty sure that's the threshold where I don't proceed forward to the next round. Basically, I don't make it into the potential top cut league. So pressure's on a little bit. I'm talking off of a script, by the way, not a full script, just some notes, because I rambled on and on and on last week for like 20 minutes, and I don't really want that to happen again. So I'm going to try and keep things a bit more brief here and try and stay on point. So, in the interest of that, a general overview of the type of team that I've built for this week is a mixed Trick Room and non-Trick Room team, to allow for the possibility of flex between fast mode and slow mode. So in that entrance, it's kind of evenly balanced. I've got 2 fast Pokemon, Corviknight and Zygarde, 2 slow Pokemon, Sarina and Scrafty, and 2 supporters with the Chandelure and the Clefairy. And I'll go into more detail about how each of them is built and what they're supposed to do shortly. I've never done this type of team before. It's a pretty big gamble, but this might be my last match in the league. So why shouldn't I do something wild? Why shouldn't I have fun with something a bit more interesting? Evidently, what I've done the last 2 weeks hasn't really been working. My opponents have been very good. I don't want to sell myself short. I've done some alright teams. I'm pretty happy with my team last week, but obviously I need to find something new to try. And I'm pretty excited for what I've come up with this week. So let's go into a bit more detail about the individual Pokemon, and let's start with Chandelure, who this is the 3rd week in a row I'm bringing them. I just love this thing. I can't ever really find a reason to leave it on the bench. This Chandelure, as I've said before, works pretty well as a nuke. It just does a load of damage into stuff that is weak to it. So it's got maximum special attack, and it's got enough speed EVs as well. 220 EVs brings it up to 128 speed. That is exactly how much it needs to outspeed the entire opponent team, assuming they don't throw up a Trick Room, which means that there are 36 leftover EVs for HP, just to round out its bulk a little bit, and it's got Focus Sash for the same reason. I want it to stay alive long enough to do basically one of two things. This is kind of the Pokemon that flexes me between fast mode and slow mode. If I want to go fast mode, then it's got Imprison and Trick Room to stop them from doing their Trick Room, to sort of prevent their Dusclops from doing it. And if I want to go slow mode, then obviously this thing can just use its own Trick Room. Either way, I need to keep it alive long enough to do one of those two things. But I think it's pretty frail, but Focus Sash combined with a little bit of extra bulk in HP. I've got stuff on the field that can redirect to. I'm hoping that it'll be able to do what it needs to. After that, if it's imprisoning, then it kind of needs to stay alive long enough to keep the imprison going, because as soon as it gets KO'd, the Dusclops can just throw up its Trick Room again. But, we'll deal with that when we get to it. The coverage is pretty good on this thing. It's alright. Between Ghost and Fire type damage, Overheat and Shadow Ball, with 2 Ghosts and 1 Grass type on their team, Fire Ghost combo hits 3 of them for super effective damage, which is pretty nice, because this thing does a lot of damage. Yeah, and there isn't any Flash Fire Pokemon. Last week, although Chandelure did a lot of work, it was really held back by never being able to overheat because of the ever-present threat of the Heatran lurking behind the scenes. But that's not going to be a problem this time around. It can throw out an overheat whenever it wants to. Oh yeah, and it's got Flame Body ability because I didn't go for Infiltrator. I don't necessarily feel like they're likely to throw up screens. And I didn't go for whatever the other one is, Fire Body. I don't remember what its third ability is, but Flame Body is if I can potentially pick up a burn unexpectedly on one of their opponent, then good. Why not? It's good to maximize your chances of that sort of thing. Second Pokemon is my Gigantamax Corviknight. This is one of my fast mode Pokemon, which is why it's got Tailwind and why it's got all the speed EVs it needs to what's this specific value for? Basically, this allows it to overspeed Tapu Bulu, Araquanid, Mudsdale. All of those Pokemon are naturally oversped by this thing. It can't do Dialga or Boltund or Gengar or Hawlucha. Those things are all too fast for it to overspeed. But it does have Tailwind, and it's built for bulk, really. It's built to stand up to a few physical hits. I mean, look at it. It's got some attack and some defense investment. I did some calcs on specific things to get to those numbers, but honestly I forgot to write them down and I can't remember them, so you'll just have to take my word that there is a reason behind those numbers. It's just I can't remember what it is anymore. Yeah, so this thing is there. Honestly, the coverage on these two moves is really nice. Brave Bird, Flying hits 3 of their Pokemon for super effective damage, the Hawlucha, the Tapu Bulu, and the Araquanid. And Body Press, although it only hits 1 of their other Pokemon, that is Dialga. Basically, what I've done is anyone who can bring a powerful fighting move is bringing that move, because Dialga only has 2 weaknesses, Fighting and Ground. And I need to be hitting one of those 2 weaknesses wherever possible. Body Press is pretty good on something that's defensively bulky like this. So, obviously with the Aguav Berry to keep it alive a little bit longer, and the Mirror Armor to prevent it from being debuffed. Hopefully this thing should be pretty good. We'll see. Next up is Zygarde, my my restricted mon. Now, this is maybe a little bit more of a this isn't the kind of Zygarde that I've run the last 2 weeks. I think last 2 weeks I wasn't necessarily impressed by okay, I should really say last 1 week, because I didn't bring Zygarde in week 1. In week 2, I was not the most impressed by Zygarde itself, because maybe that's just negative bias, because it always ended up opposite a Mamoswine and it got completely one-shot twice in a row, and you don't like to see that happen. So I just thought maybe I need to do something completely different with my Zygarde this time around. So in the interest of that, I've given it... Basically, what that means is that I didn't give it Outrage, because I hate the move Outrage. It's so bad. Like, I hate it going into a random target. It's so unpredictable, and it feels so bad when it doesn't go into the target you want. Dragon physical moves are really not that amazing. There aren't that many good options. There's like Dragon Claw, which is weaker than you'd like, Outrage, which is really strong but has the random element, and Breaking Swipe is it's pretty weak too, but it just has some really nice extra utility. It hits both of the opponents, and it reduces their attack. And I think that maybe in this situation, I'd rather just run Breaking Swipe and have a bit more consistency. Yeah. This thing's coverage is really nice. Between Ground and Dragon, it hits half of the Pokemon that my opponent is bringing. So it's gonna, no matter which 6 they choose, this Zygarde is gonna be able to hit a decent chunk of them. Between 1,000 Arrows, which will get super effective damage on Boltund, Gengar, Dialga, and Turtonator. And oh, actually, what I just said is wrong because 2 of those, both the Dragon and the Ground, is Turtonator. So actually, it's only hitting 4 of them super effectively. That's still good though. Yeah, it's got good coverage. Coil is a really nice buffing attack that boosts both defense and attack, and I think accuracy is the 3rd one, but I don't think that's really that relevant because it's not really using any weaker inaccurate moves. I'm pretty sure Breaking Swipe is 100% accurate. Hang on, let's double check that. That's something I should really know going in, and I didn't look that up beforehand. Let's see, Breaking Swipe, yeah, 100%. Great. So the accuracy boost not necessarily needed, but the attack and defense is certainly nice. This thing needs a boost to attacks where it can get them, because actually its attack stat is not as fantastic as you'd hope. Protect, obviously. Yachi Berry is there because, oh my god, I really did not like seeing Zygarde get one-shotted to 2 matches in a row by ice types. I really don't want that to happen again. And look, I know that they're not bringing any ice types this time around. There isn't a Mamoswine this week, so that shouldn't be the same problem. But like, you know, ice moves crop up all over the place on random stuff, don't they? Dialga probably could be bringing a Blizzard, you know. That would be, if I was doing Dialga versus Zygarde and I was on the Dialga side of the matchup, then I'd want to go for Blizzard over whatever dragon move Dialga uses, because Blizzard hits 4 times and it's really powerful. So yeah, that's the way my Zygarde is set up. Those are my 2 fast mode Pokemon. They're not the fastest of fast mode. Oh, I didn't talk about the EVs, did I? This speed EV is just enough to overspeed Dialga. So this thing will always act before Dialga does. Yeah, the only thing, yeah. So this thing, it will overspeed Dialga, and it hits Dialga super effectively with 1,000 Arrows. It's actually a pretty good counter to Dialga, because if it can max, get off some powerful ground attacks, get its special defense boosted a few times, and it's got the Yachi Berry to prevent it from just getting one-shot by Blizzard, and then obviously it's got Power Construct, so it can turn itself into 100% mode. I'm hoping that this thing should perform better this week than it did before. So my first slow mode Pokemon is Sarina with the Iron Ball, which I've never played with before. I've never used an Iron Ball Pokemon on any of my teams in the past, and I've even run Trick Rooms in the past. So that's pretty interesting, really. This, in case you don't know, Iron Ball halves the speed stat of the Pokemon that's holding it, which means that where you see 82 for Sarina's speed here, what it's actually doing is operating at a speed of 41. No, wait, hang on, is that right? No, that's not right, because I made a mistake in this screenshot. That shouldn't be 31 speed IVs, that should be 0 speed IVs. I'm working with outdated screenshots. Ugh. Okay, let me get the actual number. Okay, so the actual number of the speed stat is 69, nice, which halved is something or other. Oh my god. I really was not prepared to do basic maths. 34.5, and I'm pretty sure stuff in Pokemon always rounds down, putting it at 34. Anyway, the point is, Sarina with an Iron Ball is slower than everything on their team except for the Dusclops. It underspeeds all the stuff it needs to underspeed, which is the Turtonator, the Mudsdale, the Shouder, the Araquanid, Tapu Bulu. Yeah, it's slow and it's very hard hitting, and it's pretty bulky with all of those HP EVs as well. So yeah, that's what that thing does. Basically, what I'm hoping for Sarina is that she is an effective counter to the Mudsdale. And let me talk about a bit about this combo, which I'm expecting to see. So they've got both Shelder and Mudsdale. And I didn't actually notice this at first, because I'm not hugely familiar with what Mudsdale does. But Seba, my opponent from last week, who I was chatting to earlier today, reminded me of a combo there where you use Beat Up into Mudsdale, because every time it gets hit with the stamina ability, it gets +1 defense. And we had a look and we saw that there were no Beat Up users on this team, but we've got Skill Link Shelder. Now, Skill Link makes it always hit the full 5 times if it's doing a multi-hit move, and it's got Icicle Spear, which is a multiple hit ice move. I think there's a water one as well, but I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, weakness policy on the Mudsdale, and suddenly you're looking at a really scary combination. If that Shelder can get that move off against the Mudsdale, then the Mudsdale is in one turn shooting up to +5 defense and +2 attack. And if that thing Dynamaxes, then that's pretty much gonna wall and be impossible to overcome, especially if the Shelder hits it again the next turn and gets it up to +6 defense. Not that I think that extra plus is really going to make that much of a difference, but you know, this is a combo that as soon as I found out about it, I was pretty scared by. But having run some calcs, I think Sarina pretty much is able to shut it down, because if it's under Trick Room, then the Sarina is moving first. The Sarina is able to one-shot the Shelder. So it all comes down to what item the Shelder is holding. If the Shelder has Eviolite, Sarina still has a chance of one-shotting it. It's a roll in that situation. If their Shelder has Focus Sash, which is more likely because obviously the Eviolite is actually going to be on the Dusclops, then Sarina can't one-shot it anyway. But doubling up into it is going to get that Shelder off the field before it can do what it needs to do. So, because the Clefairy is overspeeding it too. Underspeeding it, rather. So anyway, the point is, this combo, I really hope I don't go up against it, but I am prepared for what to do if I do see it, and I think I've got ways around it. And then, the rest of the moveset is just good coverage. Ice damage for Hawlucha and Tapu Bulu. High jump kick is there because obviously I want my fighting attacks for Dialga, and protect just because you gotta have protect. Next up is Scrafty. I feel like I'm always bringing Scrafty. Did I bring Scrafty last week? I don't remember. Anyway, this is an Assault Vest Scrafty, which is I haven't run one of these before, but with Assault Vest, this thing is reasonably bulky. Pretty much, this guy is here to be this guy is a big chunk of my combined counter towards Dialga. So Assault Vest plus maximum special defense investment, plus max attack investment, should let it survive long enough to get off a good close combat, and a nice powerful stab move from a powerful Pokemon like this is going to take a chunk off of that Dialga, especially if I can get around to maxing this thing and suddenly it's really bulky. If I can max this thing in front of some special attackers, then I'm pretty happy with its bulk. And that's that. It's actually really simple what this thing is intended to do. It's not a complex set at all. Rest of its moves there. Ice Punch is there because I've already spoken about how good ice coverage is here Fake Out and Snarl and Intimidate I will just nice utility too, in case the Dialga doesn't end up coming out, or in case the matchup goes in my favour. You know, this thing can still do other things elsewhere. I want it to be versatile. It's kind of important for a Scrafty to be versatile, isn't it? Because that's why one of the areas it specialises in. Yeah, I love Intimidate Mons, especially in a situation like this where more than half of my opponent's team is physical. So a good Intimidator, definitely worth having. And there's no competitive or defiant, so they don't need to play around that either. And lastly, the Clefairy, pretty basic, mostly just the same as what I've done with Clefairy the last 2 weeks, which is just basic Clefairy things. Although this one does have a twist. You know, Eviolite, Protect, Follow Me, Moonblast are all pretty standard Clefairy fare. This one though has After You. Clefairy is really slow. It speed ties with their Mudsdale and their Turtonator and underspeeds everything else except for the Dusclops. So After You is nice to have in a situation like that because it means that my fast mode Pokemon won't get completely caught off guard if they accidentally, like if I don't successfully block Trick Room when I want to, or if I get Trick Room up myself but still feel like I want to have one of my fast Pokemon with me, then After You lets them still get in there and do their business. So that's pretty nice. I focused the EVs basically entirely towards special defense this week because I think that I'm most likely to use my Clefairy alongside my Zygarde, and it's most likely to be tanking hits from the Dialga. So I want it to be able to do that as well as it possibly can. And Dialga is special attacker, right? I mean, it's got pretty good physical specs, but I don't really think people run physical Dialga, do they? I don't know, actually. Now that I've asked that, I've made myself worried because I haven't planned for that at all. If that happens, then I guess I'll die. So my closing thoughts are, you know, this could be a good team or it could be bad. You know, what's probably most likely is that it could be good in the hands of someone who's actually got like experience. I'm still very much making stupid mistakes that a beginner would make, you know, hurrying through things, not thinking my moves through carefully enough, not sort of planning enough turns ahead when I make my decision making. So something like this complicated might be a bit much for me to handle. Especially because, you know, I've actually tried running mixed Trick Room teams in the past. I've tried running teams that have both fast mode and slow mode on them, and I've never been able to get it to work. But then, you know, maybe that was just those teams were just bad for other reasons. Circumstances are sure as hell different under a draft league. So we'll see. And ultimately, if I lose this match, then I'll drop out of the bottom of the league. At least I made a cool few teams along the way, you know? How else do you learn? By trying wild stuff and failing and then figuring out why you failed and then trying to not fail again. And as long as you don't fail for the same reason twice, then eventually you'll run out of ways you can fail, and all that's left at the end is to succeed. Is that a stupid thing to say? I just made that up on the spot, and now I'm trying to think back. I'm trying to play it back in my head to see whether it actually made sense or not, but the problem is I can't actually remember what I said. Anyway. Right, I'm going to cut this here and jump right into the actual match recording now. Okay, time to pick my team. I've got my my 6 lined up. This should be a pretty tricky match. I'm pretty excited for it, but I'm also pretty nervous for it. The stakes are pretty high, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, won't we? But whatever happens, I'm sure I'll have fun. And if I lose today, and if this is what causes me to drop out of the league, then I don't really mind. I've had a lot of fun. Good luck, have fun. Sorry, I wasted some of my precious picking time by saying good luck, have fun. What's he got? Dialga's there, Tapu Bulu, Boltund. Right, looks like he's got a slow mode and a fast mode of his own. So what's my plan for this? I definitely want Chandelure up front, or do I? Do I want to start? I guess I want to start by trying to prevent Trick Room, and then save actually using Trick Room for my second match. So I think that in that case, Corviknight and Chandelure is a good lead, because we've got that in prison, and we've got the ability to put up a Tailwind. And I like Zygarde in the back. And I guess that makes Clefairy my fourth. Hang on. Let me think about this a little bit more carefully. What's actually my plan for bringing Corviknight in first? Brave Bird. I guess Corviknight is there in case of... Yeah, Clefairy is important just in case they do actually still end up getting Trick Roomer. Clefairy will follow me. Yeah, let's see what happens. Who's it gonna be? I'm predicting Dusclops and Dialga. Ah, well, Heartbright. In that case, that Dialga... Let's see, they probably want to... Okay, so they probably want to... What's their play? They're going to try... Here's my prediction. They're going to use Dialga to try and Trick Room. And the Araquanid is there to do whatever water attack Araquanid has on the Chandelure to try and take it out and prevent it. So I reckon... Do I want to go straight? I guess I want to go straight for the Imprison, because Dialga can definitely have Trick Room. And that leaves Brave Bird for the Araquanid. I wonder if this... I wish I'd count this in advance, but I wonder if this just takes the Araquanid off the table. Ooh, no, but... Pretty good. Chandelure gets its Imprison. Ice Beam. So they weren't going for Trick Room. Reflect. Wow, okay. That's surprising. That's pretty okay with me though. Looks like they're going for a bulky Araquanid, but I don't necessarily mind that, because now I know that I overspeed. My Chandelure outspeeds, right? So I guess the safe thing to do now is do I double up into the Araquanid, or do I split my damage two ways? Since I know that they're slow, I don't necessarily feel like I have to get Tailwind off yet. I feel like I can maybe get away with this and Brave Bird should finish the Araquanid. Maybe this is not the greatest play, but I kind of just want to separate. Okay, I want to split the damage. Boltund. Alright. Oh, and here comes the big Dialga. How's this for me? How am I feeling about this? There. I wonder if they just go straight into the Chandelure to try and remove that from the field. I don't mind that. I don't mind getting a little bit of damage off on the Boltund. What's that? Oh, that's my berry. Okay. Oh, okay. That's fine. The way the animation was placed, it looks like the berry was coming off of the other thing. Boltund. Okay, that's fine. But the Chandelure survives that. Corviknight bounces that stat drop straight back at the Dialga. Corviknight doesn't have its stats lowered and Dialga loses. I don't think that's a physical Dialga, but if it is, it just had an attack down. Now, what do we want to do this turn? Chandelure I guess there's pretty decent chance that Chandelure... The Boltund is going to overspeed. But I think the Boltund is more likely... Do you think the Boltund is going to target the Chandelure in this situation? Do you think it's going to try and get it quickly off the table? I wonder if this is an opportunity to get a free switch in to a Zygarde on the assumption that the Boltund is probably going to do some electric type attack. I'm going to risk this, and I'm going to have you body press the Dialga. This is a pretty big gamble I think I'm making, but if it pays off, I should be in a very strong position. Oh, of course they went for the Corviknight. Okay. In that case, this is very bad for me. Man, why don't I not see it? Okay, I guess I just thought that the Boltund was more likely to finish off the Chandelure. Oh, this is bad. I'm in so much trouble. That was the... Oh my Christ. That was like the worst possible thing I could have done. This is horrific. How did I end up in such a foul situation? Okay, well this match is lost for me then now, isn't it? Because I completely I made a risky read that I thought... Okay, basically I just made a really risky, flat out wrong read of what I thought the opponent was going to do, and like it was absolutely the worst possible thing I could have done. This sucks. This is so bad. What the hell am I going to do now? Alright, well, I'm losing this match, so let's just have some fun. There's absolutely no way that I win this now. Not with a 1 HP Chandelure and a Clefairy. God. Man, I'm absolutely reeling at how that was like the absolute worst possible thing I could have done. I have to try so hard not to get tilted by it, like right now. You see something like that happen, and you have to really make sure that you're not getting tilted. I've still got to do... Oh, it misses. I've still got to do another match after this one. Christ. Alright, look. I can't necessarily make a mistake that absolutely terrible 2 matches in a row, can I? So, this match is a write-off. Let's just put it behind us and start from the next one. Treat it as a blank slate and we'll see what happens next. I love that. I love that giant Clefairy. Let's see if Clefairy can 1v4 this match. Oh, I felt like I was off to such a good start as well. I felt like the first turn, I was pretty happy with where we were. Man, that Boltund. So, damn. Yeah, well, there's not really much else to say, is there? We just need to get this match finished and get the next one going. There it is. I need some chocolate. Christ. Switching a Zygarde into a Max Hailstorm. And the fucking berry goes off. And it still just dies in one hit because of course it does. Okay. This is best of 3, so this isn't necessarily the end. I can start this again. So, I've picked up... What have I learned? Man, I wish I had made any notes. I should have been using all of that time when I was, like, slapping my head at the end there to make notes, write down everything I could remember. I could have been using that time productively. Oh well. So, who am I bringing this time? I know that their Dialga does have an ice attack, which is basically... Should I just... The thing is, right, Chandelure is such an important piece of my team. I built my entire team around having 2 speed modes. Should I go for... I feel like... I think there's a pretty good chance this Dialga is coming back again. This time, okay. Alright, let's do what I said I was going to do. And let's turn this into a Trick Room team. Where I don't necessarily... I either set Trick Room myself or I don't stop Trick Room from going up. Because the only way to recover from such a huge error is to just completely flip it and do something as different as it's possible to do, so I get as far away from that situation as possible. And I think that by going for my slow mode, I can do that. So I'm definitely bringing Chandelure, Scrafty and Sarina. The question is, who do I want as my 4th? Because Clefairy... Is Clefairy really doing that much for me in this situation? I still feel like I need Zygarde. I feel like Zygarde can be my very late pick for my cleanup at the end. Maybe after Trick Room expires. Well, here goes. Let's see what happens. Araquanid and Dialga, same lead. Okay. So what do I know? I know that their Araquanid has Reflect and Liquidation, because I saw them. I know that the Dialga has Flash Cannon, and... What was the other thing that it had? I didn't see it do anything else. I'm pretty sure I only saw it do... Oh, and some Dragon Attack of some sort. Question is now... I guess I get the Trick Room up myself and fake out the Araquanid so it doesn't get Reflect up, so that next turn I can sure. Does good damage. Who are you meteoring? Trying to take the Chandelure out. That's fine. We get Trick Room off then. Which means that we are in the speedy seat now. So now my Chandelure is in a lot of trouble because it's the last thing to act. So maybe I benefit from getting it out of here. No, maybe I'll just let it die so I can get a free switch in. I'm gonna go for a... Which of these 2 moves is stronger? Oh, obviously Overheat. I'm gonna go for an Overheat in case they don't bother targeting the Chandelure. And you are going to go big. Because this is what you're designed to do, Scrafty. You've got an Assault Vest. Oh my god. Okay. This ain't the worst scenario. Only problem is that Bolton is on the field. And it's physical. Oh no! I just realised I didn't candy. Oh my fucking god. I didn't give them this stupid candy to give them all of the HP. I can't believe I forgot. This is an absolute garbage show. I can't believe what a poor showing I'm putting on. Man, I hate this. This sucks. This is going so badly. Hang on, why did Chandelier attack before Bolton? Oh, Bolton is faster, isn't it? Well, let's just try and get you out of here. I think I have to keep knuckling to try and offset the attack drops. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, it's pretty bad. And yeah. Okay, well at least the Bolton is out of the picture, and my Scrafty is what? Back at neutral, because it's had 2 attack boosts, but it got hit by a charm, so that took it back to 0. And I've got 1 turn of Dynamax left. You probably don't bring the Dialga in at this point. You probably bring in whatever your 4th thing is. Right? Well, okay, let's just see. Okay, Dialga is coming back out. But now I feel like this is bait. I feel like it's too... obvious, the idea that I would use my fighting move into the Dialga slot on this turn. So I actually think I'm going to... I think I'm going to Knuckle. Oh no. I'm going to read into a Protect on this Dialga. Or like a Max Guard or something or other. Which is maybe a bad idea, but come on. Are you special? Oh no! Oh god. Yeah. Well, okay, if I see a Max Guard from this thing, then I'm at least happy that I didn't knuckle into them. I can't believe I picked an Ice attack into the Arachnid. That's not even that. After all of that dilly-dallying, I ended up choosing a not very effective attack into the stupid Arachnid. And they didn't even Max Guard, so I could have hit them with the superpower. Why am I can't figure out what's going on wrong here. The play, like, I'm trying to make predictions, and so far, like, the predictions I'm making have gone so astronomically wrong. At least Scrafty absolutely absorbs that damage. God, imagine if I had just max knuckled into Dialga on that turn. Imagine what a good situation I would be in right now. Alright. What's next? This match is making me feel like there's absolutely no possible way to read into what your opponent is going to do, and obviously that's bullshit, but I just feel like every attempt I've made to read into my opponent has just knocked me back so far that it's completely impossible for me to recover. And this isn't even what happened on previous weeks. I don't know why this is happening this week. I was feeling pretty good about this match coming into it. I wasn't even feeling like this was going to be particularly bad or anything. I was way more nervous in previous weeks going into it than this one, but I guess just... Man, I hate this game. I hate this stupid game. Well, look, I knew coming into this that the team I had built was a gamble. I knew that it was complicated, I knew that there were big risks there, and that it could go disastrously wrong. I knew in advance of this that, you know, things could go horrific for me. And I guess this just shows that you really shouldn't try and build a team that's outside your comfort zone, right? Because, I mean, I said in advance that I've never really run mixed Trick Room teams like this. Okay. I mean, that stops the snarl. Yeah. I wonder if there was a team I could have built that could have gone better for me, that I would have felt happier with, you know? That I could have... And I don't even want to imply that I was unhappy with this team. I was happy with this team. I thought this was a good team. And I still think that it's not a bad team. I just think that it doesn't... Okay, I don't want to blame the team. What can I learn from the events of tonight? The events of tonight can teach me that my ability to read my opponent's moves, their decisions, that sort of thing, is obviously incredibly flawed in its current state. Which I guess is fair, because I don't have that much experience. I've been playing competitive for like a year or so. But, hang on, is Trick Room still up? No. That means that you go first. Yeah, I've been playing for like a year. Basically, just in the Sword and Shield. And that's not nothing, but, I don't think that I've ever really played in a situation that's like a best of 3, where the stakes were kind of higher than just randomly laddering. Maybe I just need more practice before I enter a competition like this in the future. Man, will you fucking listen to what other shit I'm saying? Listen to how tilted I am. I mean, can you fucking blame me? I can't believe that before all of this started I was like, oh, whatever happens, I'll have fun. Man. Yeah, let's just end this. Let's just get this done. Well, good job, JinjaGreninja. You had a really good team, and you did really well. You were a good opponent. Yeah. Congratulations. I'm not like, okay, I'm probably coming off like I'm so bitter and unhappy right now. But, you know, that'll pass. Give it like 10 minutes or so, I'll be fine. I'm just shocked, basically. I'm just still in shock. You know, it's a pretty shocking thing to see. Anyway, let's finish this.